Another day, another recording. Today I'll be discussing chapter 7. It's actually going to be a game, actually. Yeah, it's just a game that I'm doing. It's called Hangman. It's a new school game that we all know from. So I'm going to be creating one. That's what it's going to be based on. So yeah, so let's head over to our book, chapter 7 for our book, and let's get to it. In this chapter will build a hangman game. We'll learn how to use dialogs to make the game interactive and take input from someone playing the game. Hangman's a word guessing game. One player picks a secret word, the other player tries to guess it. For example, if the word were teacher, the first player would write. So these are the placeholders. The guessing game tries to guess the letters in the word. Each time they guess a letter correctly, the first player fills in the blanks for each occurrence of that letter. For example, if the guessing game there's the letter E, the first player would fill in the ES in the word teacher, like this. Okay, so I hope you pretty much know how to do it because I don't want to spend a lot of time discussing this. So when the guessing player gets a letter that isn't the word, the loser points and the first player draws, okay, part of a stickman for each round guess. The first player completes the stickman before the guessing player guesses the word, the guessing player loses. Now version of Hangman JavaScript program choose the word and human player guess letters. When we join stickman because we haven't yet learned how to draw in JavaScript, we learn how to do it in chapter 13. Interaction with the player. You have to have some way for the guessing player to enter their choices. One way is to open a pop window which JavaScript calls a prompt that player can type into. Create a prompt, so creating a prompt, right? You'll be creating a prompt like this. The prompt will be created. What's the name called log hello plus rename. Then we create a new variable called name and design. To it, the value returned from calling prompt once you name when prompt is called small window, which will look like this. Okay, so that's an example of a prompt, right? Okay. So you need to design your game. Everything that is just plain English, pseudocode is a handy tool that programmers often use to design programs. It means fake code, and so we'll describe how a program would work that looks like a cross between written English and code. Pseudocode has loops and conditionals, but other than that, everything is just plain English. Let's look at the pseudocode version of our game to get an idea. So pick a random word. As you can see, none of this is real code and no computer could understand, but gives us an idea of how a program would be structured before we can get to actually writing the code and having to deal with the messy details, like how we're going to pick a random word. Tracking the state of the word. In the previous pseudocode, one of the first lines says, show the player their current progress. For the Hangman game, this means filling the letters that the player has guessed correctly and showing which letters in secret word are so blank. Yeah, so we pretty much setting everything up. So let's go to my code. So we got our title Hangman. Okay. So we got our Hangman index. So as you can see, none of this is true. So we pretty much have this. It's pretty much the skeleton. This is pseudocode. This pseudocode, right? So pseudocode is pretty much like the skeleton for what you have to expect in regards to the skeleton of a program. The grammar what the word has not been guessed. Show the player the current progress. Get a guess from the player. So this is pretty much the backbone in regards to how to set up a code. As you can see now, this real code, no computer could understand this. Gives us an idea of how program is structured. We can get to actually writing the code and having to deal with the messy details, like how you're going to pick a random word, tracking the state of the word. In the previous pseudocode one, the first line says show the player, right? Show the player the current progress. In Hangman game, this means filling in the letters that the player has guessed correctly and showing their current letters into the word that are so blank, right? How we going to do this? We can actually keep track of the player's progress in a similar way how traditional Hangman works. Give a collection of blank space and collecting them in the player's guessing. So within each blank space, the string underscore within inverted commas. You got a variable words here. Variable words. So this is pretty much creating a variable. Then math variable, math random words at length. Variable answer. The variable I equals 0. I is greater than I is less than word that length. I increment plus plus answer array. So this is what they're talking about in the book. Right, so answer array will start out as a prompt of these empty entries equal in number to the letters in the single word. So that's where words that length comes in. So that's where math randomizer. So it takes the group, randomizes, so they can just choose any word in the group. Let's words that length. Then yeah, we'll also use a variable to keep. We'll use a variable to keep track of the number of remaining letters the player has to guess. Every occurrence of a correctly guessed letter, this variable will decrease by 1. Once it hits 0, we know the player has 1. So we need to create a game loop. So the first part of the game would be the variable words and then the math flow. So we have to create a math flow and math randomize along the length to be able to randomly choose any of the words within the variable words. And the variable answer array. So you have to create an empty array called answer array, fill it with underscores to match the number of letters in the word. Right? The skeleton of the game loop will look like this. So you have to create a game loop. So it look like this. Right? So obviously, let's say for example, the math flow, math randomizer chooses JavaScript. Right? So math.length, this answer array will pretty much create an underscore. Will pretty much create, a length. pretty much create a length in which it matches one of the randomly chosen words that was chosen there. Next, we an empty array called answer array and fill it with underscores to match the number of letters in the word. That the for loop is a looping variable I that starts at 0. Skeleton of the game loop looks like this. Many letters we use a while loop which will keep looping as long as the remaining letters is greater than 0 remains true. The body of the loop would have to update remaining letters for every correct guess the player makes. Once the player has guessed all the letters, remaining letters will be 0 and the top will be end. Showing the player's progress. The first thing we need to do inside the game loop is show the player the current progress. Alerts answer.array.join. We do that by joining the elements of answer array into a string. We're using space characters separator. Then using alerts to show the string to the player. For example, let's say the word is monkey and the player has guessed M1E so far. The answer array would look like this, and the answer array be would be would be this, right? And which which is actually the alert dialog would then look like figure 7.4. So that's a alert dialog. Create variable guess. If guess is exactly null break, else if guess dot length equal is not equal to 1, please enter a single letter. Update the game state with the guess, right? So update the game state. So we need to update the game state. Once the player has entered a valid guess, we must update the game's answer array according to the guess. Then we need to create alert answer dot join. And then here's your finished code. So here's the actual code. So you got your variable words, variable word, math randomizer, answer array, remaining letters, that word that length, take input from the player. So this and then that. So this is pretty much the on JS. If you were to do this in such a way that you had to source everything out here and then source everything from your Java and have it in your HTML, it look like this. But if everything had to be in a JavaScript, shift exclamation mark enter H1 Hangman script, the finished code body HTML. So that's actually your finished code here. It's actually your finished code. So let's see this. Human File Explorer. This page says that gets a little click cancel stop play. There you have it. Now the answer was pancake. So yeah, that's how you do it, man. So you got an array. You create an array of words. So you had to create an array of words to be randomized. Random words. So you got pick a random word. In order for you to pick a random word, you got math floor, math random times by words and length. So you got your math randomizer, answer array. So you need to set up your answer array variable I equals 0. I is less than word dot length. I increments one time. So your answer array square bracket I equals that. Main letters equals word dot length. Game loop. Main letters is greater than 0. Alert answer array that join. Array prompt guess letter click answer. Stop playing if guess equal to now. Exit the game loop. Update the game state with the get. And then show the answer. Shows the answer and congratulates the player. So this is pretty much the code that you need in order to set up everything you need to set up in order for you to actually play the game. So you got that. Right, you got that. I know you're thinking so much code only to output this. But that's what you need to do. So pancake, good job, the answer was pancake. So that's what you need to do in order for you to actually set everything up, and make sure that you're able to play it the way that you're able to play it on your web browser. So HTML is responsible for your web browser. That's what's responsible for. And JavaScript responsible for everything that can happen on the console. So that's how you play it on your web browser. Want to play it on your console? Want to play it on your console? Yeah. Oh, that's pretty much it. Now next time take care of this and things. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks.